Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Shumit Roy from Joyful Workplaces. Today, I'm going to present to you how do you explore new avenues in these difficult times. So, by difficult times, I'm actually referring to a situation under lockdown or post-COVID situation. In this kind of situation, should we really keep quiet and wait for the customer orders to materialize? Or rather, my suggestion is that let us make best use of that, and there is always a silver lining available. And let's try to utilize this time to do product strategization with respect to the future. So, without wasting any time, I would like to take you straight to my presentation. The topics that I have chosen for this presentation is can be divided into two. One is the product strategization for in under difficult times, and another one is the tools for strategization. Both of which are very important, and they are interrelated. So strategic planning process, it can really be looked into basically the three components. One is the mission, which explains the basic company's reason for existence. It actually defines the line of business of the company, and the vision, which actually talks about the future intent, and the values and the policies which can be felt in every action that the company undertakes. So that can actually be also said as a guiding principle. So all the three are required to be assessed with respect to the environment that is both current environment and the futuristic environment, and based on that, the strategy is required to be adopted. And this is a top management activity, and this top management activity means that for SME, typically the CEO and the functional heads, particularly those functional heads who can really be considered for the purpose of decision making, can be considered. And based on that, the strategic objectives are required to be finalized, decided, and based on which the action plans, which can be really referred to as a tactical plan, which can be decided. Tactical plans are those plans which are small plans, short-term plans. So therefore, there is a requirement of reviewing the action plans, tactical plans, time to time. Let me go to the next slide, which actually shows you the overall template of the process of managing the strategic objective deployment. Here, purpose, direction, shared values, and shared mission, vision, which have been kept on top, based on which the long-term business plan can be developed. And based on the long-term business plan, the breakthrough plans and the business fundamentals can be decided. Now, while deciding it, the core competency of the company, the current resources, the funding, etc., can be decided. Their market current positioning in the market, vis-a-vis the competition, etc., could be decided. And through analysis can be decided what could be the breakthrough plans. The long-term business plan could really change based on the range of the plan, and whether the long-term business plan refers to 3 to 5 years plan or 1 or 2 years plan or just about a year plan, that would decide, that can be decided based on the company's capability of formulation of this kind of strategic plan, which may differ company to company and which will grow also over a period of time. So this is a very important point, that this should be realistic and deployable. And so every company should really take a call based on their basic strength and the acquaintance with the process of strategic planning. As I said earlier, the tactical plans could be decided, and based on that, the implementation could be monitored very closely by top management by periodic reviews. And the periodic reviews could be the weekly, monthly, it could be fortnightly also. And the whole thing can be monitored based on the plan, do, check, and act of the improvement cycle, and where the necessary continuous improvement can be taken up as demanded by the situation. So basically, we are talking about the current business can be assessed based on the present situation with regard to internal environment, external environment, and answers to certain questions like what we are offering in terms of products and services, who are our customers, who could be our customer, what are our customer needs, how much we are fulfilling and meeting the needs, and which markets are we targeting. This can be decided. And every product could be taken up vis-a-vis the main competitor with whom we are competing, vis-a-vis the quality, cost, delivery, safety, environment, etc. And then the relative positioning to be understood by this simple view chart. And we can understand for each where do we stand. Like for example, in Q, our number one company could be much ahead of us, and for cost we might be quite weak. So like that, the relative positioning can be understood for each and every product. And then for each product, we need to really map out through a product market analysis. You can understand that our company, it actually occupies which kind of segment. For example, if our current product is occupying commodity class and the middle class, whereas our number one company has occupied the high class and the middle class, then there is a strategy which really needed to be adopted in order to understand that how our product could really be taken up for further analysis in order to position it to the higher class and the middle class, and what all actions are required to be done, and for that what all resource allocation are required to be done, and what kind of organization structuring and skill mapping, etc., are required to be done. Competence building plan could be done. All that can be decided. So having done that, the resource allocation for each of the product could be carried out to understand the current environment, what is the positioning of the company, and in order to change from the current environment to the future environment, what all activities which are required to be done for each and every product, and the prioritization also would be done. You can see here a reflection of the BCG matrix, and for each of the product A, B, C, D, E, the strategic plan could be made. I would be taking up a little bit on the BCG matrix, which would be coming under the tools for strategic planning. So basically what we are talking about is assessment of the current business, which can be done based on the internal analysis and external analysis. And in the internal analysis, the core competence and unique select parts could be taken up. Position that we are occupying the minds of our customer can be evaluated and found out. Key challenges and constraints could be understood. Exploring and realizing the external situation, we can really find out the opportunities and the threats, and competitive elements could be understood. And based on these two, we can really plot a SWOT, and that is strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat, and we can adopt the strategies. So the detailed long-term planning could be done, and short, medium, and long-term plan. As I said, the duration of the plan would depend on the company's capability of carrying out the plan. And detailed business plan to be made with time frame. The business plan does not only talk about the figures, rather it highlights the activities, plans, etc. Revise the strategies, define the targets, and then a backup plan or alternate plan also could be adopted. Then we take up for the implementation of the tactical plan, and then corrective actions can be taken up based on the reviews. This process actually is a part of the cross-functional management and then daily work management. So the entire strategic planning process finally could be merged into the daily work management and the cross-functional team activities. So cross-functional team activities could be specifically allocated the specific projects based on which the company can change its positioning vis-a-vis the product and the processes. Now I'll be briefing you about some of the important tools and techniques. And one of the first tools that I would like to talk to you about is the product lifecycle, or in brief, what is called the PLC, which actually is a mapping of a particular product vis-a-vis introduction, growth, maturity, and decline phase of a product. Each and every product actually passes through these 4 stages, and we need to find out one by one each of our product and find out that where they belong to. And then later on it can be taken up whether there is a need to exit from that particular product, or there is a need for further resource allocation in order to change the strategically the positioning of the company with respect to introduction, growth, maturity, and decline phase. So this is a very important tool, and we can later on, after completing PLC analysis, we can really come out with one by one product and the parts, and then understand that where they belong to, and with respect to each product, what are the future plans which can be taken up. There is another important tool I've shown you here, the ANSOP matrix original, which talks about the products, current products and the new products that the company is having or are planning to have, and the markets where the company is currently occupying, and also the new market where the company is planning to enter. And based on that, the market penetration plan, product development plan, market extension plan, and diversification plan can really be strategized. So this particular ANSOP matrix and the previous PLC matrix, if we try to look at it together, we can really understand that which particular product need to be further taken up in order to be considered in one of these segments. But if you are coming to the diversification, we are basically talking about the new product, new market. So some kind of innovative product could be launched based on the product analysis vis-a-vis the competitor, or based on the product which has already been launched elsewhere, but the company isn't there right now, or the company's markets where the company is right now promoting its product, it does not have that product as yet. There is another revision of ANSOP matrix which I propose, is that instead of market, you can consider the customers, and based on the newness and then products and technology newness, we can again classify it into the 4 categories and take a call with respect to strategic decisions. This is the SWOT analysis, that is strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat analysis. Whereas the opportunity and threat refer to the external conditions, and then strength and weakness refers to the internal situation. Basically, we are talking about the strength that we have, and the strengths have actually brought us today where we are. And the weaknesses are the realized weaknesses, or the weaknesses which we have of late found through analysis, which are required to be overcome. So we can understand that how do you really exploit the opportunity and overcome the threat by strengthening our weaknesses, and probably exploiting on our current strengths, and then come up with the strategies with respect to each segment. That is the opportunities, how do you really exploit it? Threat, how do you overcome it based on the strength? And opportunities, what kind of weaknesses are required to be overcome? For the threats also, in order to overcome that, what kind of weaknesses are required to be converted into strength? So this is a very, very important tool, SWOT analysis. The next tool that I am referring to is a very old tool actually. It was introduced quite a few years back, and that is referred as BCG, or the Boston Consulting Group matrix, where we have the relative market share, high and low, and then product sales growth also divided into high and low. Based on that, we can have what is called the cash cow, the star, the question mark, and the dog. And by the interplay of all the 4 tools that I have shown you, that is to start with the PLC matrix, and then followed by the ANSOP, and then after that, what we have discussed about is the SWOT analysis and the BCG matrix. We can really come out with the strategies, and based on these strategies, we can come out with the tactical plans as I showed you in my earlier slides. Each and every product can really be plotted in the BCG matrix, and then it can be, after the strategies are done, devised, then we can really come up with the tactical plans, and then deploy it down the ladder of hierarchy from the CEO to the sectional head, and for each and every product and process through control point and checkpoint. This is referred typically as a Hoshin Kanri in Japan. Hoshin stands for compass, and Kanri stands for the control. So we can really control in a very organized way for deployment of the strategic plans. And this is further a slide on Hoshin Kanri. And balance scorecard, which actually talks about the learning and growth, internal process perspective, financial perspective, and customer perspective in order to reach our mission and vision. So KPIs, or key performance indicator, for each of these perspective can really be designed, and then data can be collected, and then data structure mechanism can be evolved, and the company really can monitor its relative positioning, strategic positioning plan through these KPIs. And then where the organization structure needed to be strengthened, what kind of skill required to be developed among the employees, that can be decided. So I hope this short presentation was helpful to you in order to understand that what kind of strategic planning process could really be utilized in this difficult time. And rather than just trying to wait for the opportune time to come, we can really devise our ways, plan and design our ways through strategic planning process, and then find out that where we need to strengthen ourselves in order to overcome the weakness and exploit the opportunities, and then probably start in full blow when the situation comes back to normal. And then planning process, as you all know, that it takes the maximum bulk of the time. So perhaps this is the right time and moment for us to get going. So with that, best of luck to you. Thank you very much.